Hi, and welcome to the Pasadena channel. My name is Laura Branch-Morellis, and I'm the Community Information Manager. The first 100 days, it seems like most, if not all, elected officials are gauged on that all-important window, and our next guest is no exception, but I think you're going to like what you hear. Joining me is Mayor Jeff Wagner, City of Pasadena. Welcome, Mayor.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to meet with us. I know you got a lot going on. And in your first 100 days, you've accomplished quite a lot.
We have.
You have.
We really have.
And
I'm proud of that.
You actually came in with, people had some preconceived notions. Let's just go ahead and say that. And I think you're doing a really good job of surprising everybody. And the first being, you made some key appointments here in the city. Let's talk about your new police chief.
Al Espinoza, oh my goodness, it was an easy pick for me. He's been with the department 38 years. He's highly qualified. In actuality, I think he's been overlooked for years. So that was an easy pick for me.
Well, and you, being a veteran police officer, recently retired, you know a good, solid police officer and a good chief pick when you see it.
And I took that into account when I made my pick. Yes.
Excellent. And then your chief of staff, James Rodriguez.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about James.
James Rodriguez. I knew of him when I was on the board of our union with the Houston Police Officers Union. He was on council, and he was always helping the police department, very pro-police. And we knew we could go to him when we had issues, and he'd bring it to the mayor and fight for us. But also, he was on council for 6 years. After that, he stayed really in contact with a lot of politicians throughout Texas, and he was able to negotiate deals for different companies. So for us to get someone like that to be my chief of staff, I feel very blessed. I actually had to beg him to come on. But since he's been on board, he has done a super job. And what he's brought to the table for this city has just been unbelievable, and I'm very proud of that.
Well, and one thing that he did tell me is that, you know, him with his history, being a Houston city councilman, he saw the way council meetings were run, he saw the way cities were run, and then he told me just this morning that the comparison, there's really no comparison, because Pasadena is just such an efficiently run city, and he's very impressed with what you're doing. And for the people out there who may not be aware of what a chief of staff does in a mayor's administration, what are some of the things he does? You talked about him with state officials, government officials.
Absolutely. The chief of staff is really a position that's probably the most important position of my staff, because number one is we're a strong mayor form of government, so I'm over all personnel. And remember, we got 1,200 employees here in the city. I address, and I should address, all the big issues, and I personally, I do. I do that. But the smaller issues, the chief of staff, the directors can bring the chief of staff, and he can address that.
The daily work.
Absolutely. Because let's just be honest, and I didn't realize, I did realize it, but I have a schedule now. Someone has to keep a schedule with me. And I try my best to be as proactive with the community as I can. So I've got things throughout the day. And I cannot go throughout the day and be engaged with the community like I want to be if I'm here handling the smaller details. And
if you're worried about your schedule, where you need to be, things like that.
And that's the chief of staff's job. And that's only one of his many jobs. He gets with the city council throughout the week to update them on everything that we're doing. There's just so many things the chief of staff does. I mean, I could just sit here and talk about this for 30 minutes, but James has took this office, and he has been 100% committed to this city, and I'm very proud of the job he's done.
We're very happy to have him here as well. Now, you mentioned that he does interact with the city council. We have some new faces on the council this time around, some veterans and some new faces.
Right.
How has your relationship, because you were a councilman prior to running for mayor, so how has that been going?
Actually, it's been going very well. I tell the council members this: you don't have a clue what the mayor really does until you become the mayor. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't either. And I'm not complaining, don't get me wrong. But there's so much more of a daily, again with the chief of staff, which helps, of a daily duties that you have to do as mayor that you don't do as council. And as long as we work together to better Pasadena, it's all going to work out.
Well, and I see you are working together, and the city is efficiently
Absolutely.
run. And one of the big things that has made the headlines is the bus system coming back.
Absolutely.
What made you decide to do that?
Well, believe it or not, I walked running for this office from one end of Pasadena to the next end of Pasadena. And believe it or not, that was one of the biggest issues that people talked about. And I didn't understand why we didn't have it. We had it at one time and it stopped. And to this day, I don't understand why it was really stopped. I don't understand that. So I brought it back up. And I looked at the old route and I said, I don't like this old route because there's so many things missing now this route. All our shopping. And we got some of the best shoppings in Harris County, shopping right here in Pasadena.
Well, and the city's grown so much just in
Exactly.
the last few years.
In both court annexes. That wasn't on the map. It is now. All our medical center and all doctors' offices that we can, that's on our route. So add that to the route and making it where people that will have to rely on the bus system, it will work out for them. They can wake up, get to the bus stop, get on the bus, shop, doctors, whatever they need to do at the county courts and back home. And that's our job, to make sure our city flows, and it will flow.
And that's going to be a big help for the folks that may not have a car or the
Absolutely.
elderly who don't drive
Absolutely.
anymore. I know that's going to be a
Even
big
our
help.
first hearing we had, over 250 people showed up, and they were very excited about that. So there is an interest. If there's an interest and we can do it, we must do it, because our job is to make sure all citizens have everything they need. And I take that very serious.
Excellent. Now, speaking of something that the citizens maybe over on Ritchie Road need, where I used to live growing up, I know that we're doing a lot of improvements there.
Absolutely. We're fixing to redo the whole Ritchie Street from 225 all the way down Southmore.
Excellent.
And what we did was we negotiated with the county. They're going to pay half and we're going to pay half.
Oh, good.
And believe it or not, it should be right on course. I think in March we'll have a groundbreaking. It's going to be that quick.
Excellent.
I'm very excited about that.
And that's going to, will the bus run on Ritchie?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But not until we fix it.
Well, yeah, exactly. We want to keep those buses in good shape. All right, and another thing that you're doing is, I read where you're seeing some of these old buildings that are eyesores around. We're going to clean the area up.
Absolutely. On my first council meeting as mayor, I made sure that we hired 4 more code enforcement officers. Now we have 8. We only had 4. A city this size, 4 just wouldn't cut
Right.
it. And a lot of the, it wasn't their fault, because 4 people trying to cover a city this big is impossible.
Pasadena's a lot bigger than people think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So with that, doubling the size, we are paying more attention to buildings and actually some homes that really need to be paid attention to. So we're paying a little more attention than where the city's ever has.
All right, well, we had a recent visitor who got everybody's attention. He was very unwanted, and we're glad he's gone, but his name was Harvey.
Oh my goodness. I'm glad he's gone.
And, you know, most elected officials, they get in, you know, their first 100 days, they kind of have a chance to assess the situation, look around. You know, you didn't. You had to just hit the ground running with this, because I think
Absolutely.
you weren't even in 2 months
That's exactly right.
when Harvey hit. So talk to me a little bit about what you guys did to prepare. You knew it was coming, and you knew our area
Absolutely.
has a history of flooding.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, a lot of people says it's a worst time of becoming a new mayor because of Harvey. I look at it just the opposite. It was a great time to become the new mayor. And the reason why is I was able to witness and watch the core of Pasadena work. And I was able to stand right in the middle of it and help make the decisions. The team stayed on top of everything.
Well, and you were ready. I mean, you had your high water vehicles ready to go.
Absolutely.
You had, I think you made changes in the emergency management shift. You put, or crews, you put them 12 and 12.
And we did that the day before it hit. Usually people probably wait right when it hits.
Reactive instead of
Exactly.
proactive.
But I wanted to be very proactive on this. We knew it was coming. If you know it's coming, start getting ready. We got ready before probably anybody else, city in Harris County.
And what was it, between 3,500 and 5,000 homes?
5,000 homes was damaged here in Pasadena. Absolutely.
Goodness gracious. And I mean, almost immediately, the crews started picking up the debris, and they didn't make just one pass, right?
No, absolutely not. As when the rain stopped, I called a meeting, and we immediately had our people, our garbage collectors, start. But we also had Ash Britt on contract. We called them in that same day. I said, get your trucks out here immediately and let's start picking up. And we started picking up the day it stopped raining. Because I know how Pasadena, I know how Texas, how we are. We're not going to wait for insurance. We're going to start clearing stuff out and putting it on the streets.
Yeah.
And what I really felt, and the reason why I was really passionate about getting our city cleaned up, because I know this, my house wasn't damaged. But if my house was damaged and everything I owned was in front of my house, day in and day out, and I had to see that, that's a hard pill to swallow. So I want everybody to understand that we care, and we're going to try to do everything we can and get your stuff out in front of your house was a top priority, just to help people realize the city's there for you. Now you can focus on your house, not the stuff you lost.
So you looked at it not only from, a black and white logical issue, yeah, let's get the trash away, but you thought about what people were thinking and their psyches when they were looking out the window, their homes.
And that helped me make the decision, and I stayed on top of that decision. Within 2 weeks, we already had our crews 2 times throughout this whole city. And we did miss a couple of neighborhoods, but of course, we're doing everything we can. But once we found out which neighborhoods were missed, we immediately hit it.
Well, and one of the things that Mr. Rodriguez said, he said that watching you in action during Harvey, and I'm going to tell on you, I heard you slept up here for about 5 days.
Absolutely. It was actually 6 days, but who's counting?
Your wife, when she was going, where is he? I want him home with
but
me.
I just think that's important because I chose to be the mayor. And how in the world could I be a mayor sitting at the house when decisions had to be made right here? So I was right here to help make the decisions.
Well, and speaking of making decisions, all your 30 plus years as being a police officer in high pressure situations, I mean, you had to make some really important decisions.
And that did help.
You think that helped?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, that helped. And what helped about that also is I remember being the employee where the decisions was passed down. And I remember how some of the decisions really wasn't the right decision and it just didn't work for the employees. I remember that. So the decisions we made was right for the employees, and it worked better both ways for us and for the employees.
And so because you can see the other person's point of view, what do you think surprised you most about the citizens of Pasadena when they all came together? I know that there's a story over here at the mall.
Number one is we asked the citizens to stay home. They did. I mean, that's just wow. Then
and that helps.
It helped. It helped us perform all city functions that we needed, like clearing the roadways, clearing the ditches, the police going out and make sure people weren't breaking in, the fire department making the rescues that had made. We had 1,000 emergency calls, and we made 242 rescues.
Wow.
And if people were on the streets, they had been in the way, but they actually did exactly what we asked them to do, which is, I thank all the citizens for that. But after that, people started calling City Hall about helping people. We said, sure. So we opened Pile Gym, which is down here on Southmore, and the first day we opened it in that morning, about that afternoon, Pile Gym was completely full with people bringing donations to help people.
And they called not to complain, not to ask questions. They called
to help.
How can we help?
Exactly. So that gym got full in that first day. We had over 250 citizens at Pile Gym helping separate and put everything in order.
That's Pasadena.
250. The gym was completely full, so we had to think of another plan. The other plan was, we didn't have another plan, so we had to come up with something.
There comes that decision making again.
So I'm sitting up here, I'm looking out my window here, I see Macy's. I know it's empty. I call the police chief, the fire marshal, and we meet over there. I said, we need to open these doors. And believe it or not, we called Macy's and they gave us permission to open doors.
Wonderful.
And believe it or not, we moved Pile Gym into Macy's. That next day, Macy's, the bottom was completely full. We needed more room. Now, at this time, we had about 800 citizens volunteering.
That's amazing.
So we moved down to Dillard's.
Yeah.
We opened Dillard's up. The bottom floor of Dillard's was completely full.
And these are people from Pasadena bringing items.
Bringing items, and then we had 1,000 citizens volunteering, working both stores, helping the community that needed help.
That's amazing.
That right there, that shows the true spirit of Pasadena. Everybody came together. Not one person complained. I like how you said that. How can we help? And they helped. It's unbelievable.
And then one last thing to wrap up the Harvey discussion. You had basically some very important first responders that were working 24/7 for free.
Absolutely. Our volunteer fire department. My goodness. You know, and I got the report, there's probably, if not 10 or 15 of them that were at the stations. Their houses were being flooded, and they still stayed at the station and worked. I mean, my goodness. You know, first responders, to me, of course, I've been a first responder my whole life, so my heart goes out, especially the police officers. I love police officers, and I'm very pro-police, as you can tell. And they did a fantastic job. But when you're talking about a volunteer fire department,
they're taking time off of their jobs, away from their families. Yeah.
That goes way beyond what anybody could ever imagine. And these men and women did that for our city. And I could call them right now and they would do it again. I mean, that's just, my goodness, big shout out to our fire department.
And that's part of the spirit of what makes Pasadena so special.
That's it.
You know?
Exactly right.
It is. Well, we have some very special constituents, if you will. They're your toughest constituents. And they have some questions for you. So let's take a look here. Let's get this. There we go. All right. Here's our first question.
Hi, Mayor. My name is E.E. I'm in second grade. What's your favorite book?
My favorite book is the Bible. And the reason why the Bible is my favorite book, because it's God's words, and God guides everything that we do. And the more you stay in His Word, the more you're talking with Him, the more He's going to talk back to you and guide you. So that's my most important book.
It's the best instruction manual there is.
Yes.
All right, now let's try this guy.
Hi, my name is Dominic Torres, and I'm in 4th grade. And Mr. Mayor, I would like to know if you have homework.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
Yes, Dominic,
Yes,
they have
yes.
homework.
So learn how to do your homework now, because I'm guaranteed when you grow up, you're going to have homework the rest of your life. I bring stuff home daily in reading, from our city charter to just everything that we do here. I bring home to review before I come back and make a decision. So yes, I have homework.
It never ends. All right, here's.
Hi, Mayor Wagner. My name is Aiden, and I'm in 1st grade. What's your favorite superhero?
My favorite superhero, Batman.
Really?
I love Batman.
Batman, what do
Yes.
you like about Batman?
Well, I'm going to tell you this. My parents tell this story. When I was 3 years old, that's when the Batman series
The
was
Adam West Batman,
Yes.
that was my Batman
Oh,
too.
yeah, mine too. They say that they'd put a towel around my neck, and when Batman was on, I would run around and yell, Batman, Batman, Batman. I never would watch it, but I was playing Batman the whole time. So since then, Batman is my superhero. As a matter of fact, for my 40th birthday party, my wife threw a Batman party for me.
Did she
So
really?
everybody knows I love Batman.
So is there any chance we're going to get the big spotlight up in the air?
We're working on that.
Okay. We need help. Yeah. All right, here's our last question.
Hi, my name is JC in 3rd grade. What is one thing that you would like to accomplish before you leave office?
One thing I like to accomplish before I leave office is really the main thing, that reason why I ran, because out in the public, people think Pasadena is divided. That's not true. So if I can just get that message out of how we're united and how we all work together to make a better Pasadena, I would like that so much.
Because we're the best kept secret in Texas, I think.
we are.
We're an amazing
In fact,
city.
I know we are. I know we are.
And I have no doubt that you're going to do everything you set out to do. And Pasadena is just going to shine and flourish even more under your leadership. So thank you for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.